seeing in the charts today. And so let's just start with the Nasdaq. Because what the Nasdaq does, the rest of the market follows. So you've got the daily on the main chart here and the weekly on the right there. I like just to see what the weekly is showing us, just to step back and see the bigger picture. So we have come into early June lows and we're just trying to hold here. So on Friday we dipped back into those June lows. So this is pretty much in line with what I talked about last week. I talked last week about summer doldrums. We're coming off, we've got series of lower highs, but we've got all the support down here. So this is crucial. If this Nasdaq can pick up from here and close above 28,900, then we can move back up. My best guess is we're not done yet. My best guess is we're going to come and see at least 27,700. Overall, being the time of year it is, where aren't we? We're really just hitting peak holiday season. So we could so easily just drift around. Normally, in a typical year, you drift around, move sideways until about second or third week in August, and then as the peak holiday season peaks and rolls over towards the autumn, then you start to wind up. You get normally get quite a lot of volatility in September, and then you tend to get a Christmas rally. So we're somewhere around here where we could so easily just drift lower. To cut a long story short, so if we look at the FTSE is doing the same but at a much slower rate. So I've got this pink bar, this zone here. If we close under 10.5, then we are going to come and see some lower numbers. We're going to come and see 10,300 and the big 10,000 again. So let me just shorten this a bit, because here is the crucial neckline. It's that neckline of this pink zone that is going to make the difference. Yeah, it start dropping out of that and we could so easily come and see the March lows. So if I pinch back, bull flag, yes, could easily be a bull flag. So coming into 10.3, maybe as low as 10,000 holding and seeing some volume, then that could get us going back up to the highs. Or if it's much more bullish than I thought, we're going to see 10,450 holding and then pulling back. But short term, we are seeing just some profit taking, some floating backwards. So is this a good opportunity to buy, or should you be sitting on the sidelines, or should you be cashing in? Let's talk about that in more detail. Well, if I show you, let's get through financial services first. This is Shawbrook, and you can see from the weekly chart here, since that dip into 285, we've been pushing up. We're nearly £1 higher than that, and my daily chart's not moving either way because there's not much more data. So any pullback to 340, I think, is still buy. If you're not in this, then look out for 340, because if we find that and it holds, then I think ultimately we're going back for £4. But bear in mind what I just said, we could just flap around for a bit, maybe dive a bit deeper into that £3, 3.10 if it does pull right back. But longer term, I would expect to see that get into £4 and beyond. So back end of the year, who knows, we could be up to £5 if you're very patient, if everything pans out. Because the financial sector, the banks have done okay. We just need to find out what this new Prime Minister is going to do, because there was talk of them attacking the banks and looking to them for greater tax revenues. So let's go through the banks, and we'll quickly move on because I'm taking too much time here. Let's go right, banks. So we got Standard Chartered sitting up high. That's been on a really nice run from 1470. We've recently been up there to 2160. HSBC, that's been on a fantastic run. That's looking like that could want to pull back. If we can't break through these highs, then we subsequently break underneath this funnel pattern. In other words, we come under 1450, that might see greater profit taking. In the meantime, this is a strong look at the weekly chart. We've been closing higher all bar 1 week since early June, first week in June. So these banks have done well. Peru was up there at 1250, so this is a nice pullback. So we're down to £9 not so long ago. Might well come and find that £9, £9.25 again before that packs up. Like this has been on a fantastic run. So look at the breakout down here in January 25. So we spent all year with dips getting bought until we get to this point. So let's just look at where we are on this. So we could easily fall back into 990, maybe lower down to that £9 mark before, if this really gets some momentum and catches a bid, then expect to see 13 and 14 plus on that one, on Peru. Talked about the Peru during this period. There's a deep pullback from April into, from March, beginning of April into late. That was a very short period, wasn't it? So we flew up. Anyway, enough. Let's move on. Barclays. All the time we sit up above that £5, that's got the potential to go to £5.50, £6. So this February 26 high is crucial. Just be careful because the volumes are tailing off in this quiet period. And where's Lloyd's? Right, so Lloyd's has actually gapped down and that's pulled back into sports. I'd expect to see you wouldn't mind betting on that dipping all the way back to £1, possibly. But if we dip back into about 105, 106 and hold, then that's going to 122. Okay. Other financials, legal and general. That's been picking up and doing well. What else have we got? Pay. That's a buy at 597 on pay points. Wise, this is a payment processing outfit. If this £9 holds, then that could go to 12, 13. Decent pullback will be 885, 890 on Wise. Saga's been on an incredible run. Okay, moving on. Anything else in the financial sector you want to look at? Shout now. Otherwise, let's move on. Just looking through metals. This is Morgan Advanced Materials. Very unexciting one, but if that drops down to £2, £2.08 and holds with volume, okay, seen some recent volume stepping in here. Could easily go back to 250. We'll look at the metals themselves in a minute. FCX copper miner in the US, the big copper miner, Freeport. That looks viable down here. Let's look at our Central Asian metals. This is really perking up now on volume. So any pullbacks to 130, 135. Volume is picking up. I mean, I'm in this slightly underwater. I got in a little bit too quickly. About 145, 148 I bought, so I'm still slightly underwater. If this catches a bid, I just look at the volume down here. If this catches a bid, then I expect that to see 240, 250, 275 back end of the year, if that can keep up. Right, let's go to different sector. Let's look at some stocks that we've been talking about this year for a catch up. Sticking with commodities, Rio, now that is a decent pullback area. So Rio, that was at my extension levels up there at 82.20, that's back down to 66.40. I would have thought in this quiet period they might slip that down to 63.50. If they do, and it gets bought, I mean, let's look at, sticking with the same theme before I start jumping around sectors. Nope, sorry, this list is not right. This, I mean, Wix, I think I got there around about 175, 180. That's currently 190. Volumes are slackening off here, but we're above both averages. These 50 and 20-day average are about to cross to the upside, at which point that should take that potentially back to 210 plus on Wix. The DIY retailer, oh, Glencore, sorry, that was the other one I was looking for, Glencore. So I think that's going to see 490 again. If we see 490 on volume, then we should be potentially going back to that 625 plus. So these are good pullbacks. I think, yeah, while it's all nice and quiet, these are potentially good pullbacks. Right, let's look at, we talked about CTEC doing nicely, recently up there at 227. I'm liking the volumes, and if we can, I think this can be through and through. I think if we break up through this trend line, I think that's going to release, I think that's going to really catch a bid and see that going to 250, 260. So I think Convatec is good. They are in the medical industry. And what else am I looking at? PFE, Pfizer, so flicking a bit off to the US. This 23.65 has been bought. I think we might see 24 again. But I am looking for this to look at this weekly chart. Sorry, weekly is looking nice. So ultimately, I'm looking for this to finish the year into the 30 mark. They've recently come out of a legal case on the positive side, so I think that's going to hopefully free that one up. The reason why the share price is somewhat depressed is because they've got a lot of drugs coming out of what do they call it? It's contracts, not contracts. Can't remember. Mine's gone blank. But that's why they are low. Right. What am I interested in? So I'm not doing a lot here. Rolls-Royce, that looks as if that wants to pull back. Netflix. I'm really liking Netflix down here. They had earnings on Thursday, didn't they? So that drop on Thursday was the earnings drop. they're pulling right into this October 24 level. Need to do a bit more research on that, but I'll come back to you tomorrow about Netflix, but I like the support down here. Yeah, so on the Friday, day after earnings, that saw a decent pickup in volume. So that's going to be, I'm going to do a little bit more research on that tomorrow and then think about getting into that one. I have been in and out of that a bit recently. Now, service now, that looks good. I think service now can get back up to that 15. This is the US stock. Workday. Yeah, so these dips, let's look at Microsoft. Yeah, so this Microsoft's has seen a very hefty pullback, 47,200 down to 34,250, 35,250. Look at that. It's a boomerang back down to the April 25 area. In fact, it's it looks like a rerun of the April 25. If that's the case, we should see 55 plus on Microsoft. So I think these are buyable. I think these dips are buyable. Right, what do you want to look at? Retailers. So EasyJet. So I'm just flicking through a few more before I come to that. Tesco sitting up, EasyJet. That's flown. Things like Sainsbury's. Right. 8CSO. CSO Technology. Right. Wow. So we shot up on June 5th on volume. So this is a potential bull flag. Oh, this one was at great heights, wasn't it? 770. Right, let me do a bit more research on this one. CSO Tech. ACSO. If you're in it, great. I would have thought that would at least come back to 294. If you're in it, sit tight. If you're not, see if that dips back to that 290. Because there's a lot of support at 294, 295. Otherwise, next stop is 350, 360. I think in a consolidation like this, consolidation is over with a dip against the trend. So that's why I think that might well pull back. Now, TEP, yeah, I have been monitoring that. I haven't looked at it, but I've... Right, okay, so we are seeing volumes down here. Horrendous drop on the 23rd. Let's look at the weekly. So we're all the way down here in 2020, March 2020, COVID time. Let's update this chart. Right, let's go back to that COVID period. All right, so if we can stay above 845, then I think we can stage some kind of recovery, particularly as the volume's picking up. However, if we start closing under 840 and ultimately close under 725, this is potentially not going to hold. What we could be seeing here is a 1, 2, 3 wave correction. Not sure you pretty much see that actually. Sorry, let me draw that with the other pen. Yeah, I think we could be seeing a 1, 2, 3 wave correction. Well, we could start to repeat this pattern. If this is going to stand a chance of recovering, then we need to start to repeat that situation over here. So we're going to need to see that above the 10 mark again, with an increase in volume. All right, let me pan back from that. Yeah, so we need higher numbers with increasing volume and getting above the 10 mark for that to do more. Let me just bear with me a second. I'm just going to go back and look at what the other stocks I'm looking at now. BGE. This one's gone, but BGEO. This has been on a fantastic run. This is Lion Finance. So any pullback to 77 on Lion Finance could be worth going after, otherwise leave well alone. Well, I'm leaving alone anyway. Right. Okay, I've just realised what, let's look at these two. Yeah, okay. Seems to be a lot of activity in, so I'm in BT. This is a weekly chart of BT. So I'm down, I got in about 185, 188, currently just under the £2 mark. If that can get back above 225, that could rise. It's a possible takeover target, but it's been a possible takeover target for a very long time. Deutsche Telekom have a big chunk. There's a billionaire who's been building a stake as well. Vodafone. You know, these are big cash boys that are sometimes worth looking at. That's Vodacom. Yeah, it is Vodafone. VOD, yeah, it must be. No, it's not. That's better. Right, and really picking up, the volumes are picking up. It's looking very active. So Vodafone, it's a bit of a slug. Hold this 115. Any pullbacks to 105 are potentially viable to see that get back to 150. If that really catches a bid, then we should be looking at 175, £2 on Vodafone. And I'm liking Gemring. I'd be very patient with Gemring. See if we might see 450 sometime soon. And QQ, let's have a look at QQ. Queen Tech. So these are defense industry areas. So if this Queen Tech holds here, closes above 470, I'd expect that to go to 650, 720 plus on Quinintech. So I'm even going to get in. I'm even going to look to buy this at 450. 420 would be better. Right, anything else you are looking at? Let me just quickly go through this list. Nope, that's not going to. I'll leave that one alone. Let's just have a quick look at the commodity market. So we've got high-grade copper sitting up. That should bode well for our copper miner. We've got soybeans picking up. We've got wheat having a good run. So as long as wheat holds the 650 mark, I think we'll see 730 plus. Oil. Okay, so oil has retreated, but it's only back down to a pullback area. So we closed the gap. We had a gap down there going back to Feb. That got filled a couple of weeks back. And now we are potentially going to pull back to 90 plus again. Of course, it's so volatile that could just roll over. It could fire up, it could roll over. It is very volatile. It depends on how you think Iran's going to play out. Right. Anything else you want me to look at? Otherwise, I'm off. Quite like this. What's that? Hang on. Elementis. Sitting a bit too high, I think. Okay, let's look at that one in a second. Right, let's look at that one now. MWE. Got it. Okay, here we go. Ooh, yes, this has been on MTI Wireless. So this has already had a decent run. I mean, the last time we did this, we pulled back. I mean, I'd love to see 55 on that. We've seen a lot of profit taking up here. It's been on a nice little run. So it broke out here in December 25. I'd really want to see that at 50, 55. Yeah, I nearly clicked on this. In fact, I've got IOF on this list. Let's run, isn't it? It's already well underway, and that's come from 20 to that's tripled. I'd need to see a pullback in that. You know what I'm like. I hate buying high. RS. Now, This looks very interesting. RS looks like a nice chart. Ideally like to see that at least 620, 630, but if that, wow, if that picks up, brilliant. I'm gonna run now, but thanks for sharing that, because that looks good. But I'm very interested in Netflix and QQ, and gonna see if I can get a pullback in that ACSO. So thanks for sharing that, and we'll stay in touch. Talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.